Hello and welcome to some more Star Citizen. There was a lot promised at CitizenCon 2023. CIG told us a lot would be coming into the game in the next 12 months or so at that time. Though I'm always super generous with timings and Star Citizen, so let's say by the end of 2024. Now spoilers, this video is going to take a quick look at what they've already put in, and they promised to put in, and what is left on that list. What is the stuff that they've already showed and promised and has made it in? Well, master modes, flight and combat changes, engine updates, including things like Vulcan and water simulation, although there's a load more engine updates that still aren't in-game. The replication layer, allowing for server meshing, but also server crash recovery, allowing for multiple servers to technically be stitched together. You've got FPS improvements and a big first-person shooter weapons overhaul as well. There was tons of these Squadron 42 features that were finally being brought over to Star Citizen, including better interaction and overhauled star map stuff and a mini map. There's distribution centers, which are these big hubs of missions and activities. New animals were added, and we've got significantly better inventory systems. We also got the cargo updates that are coming with Alpha 3.24 and hangar updates, stuff like that, and we might even get a new Sabre variant here too. A lot of what was shown at CitizenCon is coming with Alpha 4.0, which is expected roughly by the end of October, maybe end of September on paper. That's unlikely. Towards the end of October with CitizenCon, much more likely. Definitely by the end of the year. Question mark. But yeah, Alpha 4.0 stuff. So we got things like the new star system Pyro. You've got a jump point to connect Pyro to Stanton. You've got space cows. You've got server meshing. You've got the Zeus Mark II, at least the MR version. You've got engineering, which is quite a lot of different gameplay. That's sort of the repairing of components and the replacing of them, the stopping of artificial health pools for everything, and if you damage a component, that's how a ship is disabled or destroyed. You've got fire hazards and fire extinguishers. You've got life support systems, which will produce oxygen and assumedly atmosphere in areas that require it. And you've got a HUD rework, and a load of new settlements are supposed to be turning up as well. Just a load of stuff in the Pyro gameplay area, potentially new gangs in the Pyro area, stuff like that, and new Pyro stations, the terrible scary flares that come off the Pyro Star. They showed off 10 ships at CitizenCon as well that they said would be coming again over the next 12 months or so. A lot of them are actually already been put in the game, so like the Pulse Bikes, the X1 series, the Retaliator update, the Medical Ursa, the Argo MPUV T1. Now, there are a load of other vehicles and ships that are going into the game that they haven't revealed as well that will be turning up over the next few months. But some that were shown off at CitizenCon that haven't turned up yet are things like the rest of the Zeus Mark II series, a ship only known as the Fat Fury, the Legionnaire, although they did basically say it's unlikely the Legionnaire would make it this year, but we'll have to wait and see. I think one of them might have been the Spirit E1. There was one I sort of couldn't easily identify. And there was the Polaris, which CIG have basically said time and time again, yes, it will be in by the end of the year. I think it's supposed to be turning up for the Intergalactic Aerospace Expo, the Polaris, which would be November. And if I've missed out a ship or you've identified the other ship that I thought was the Spirit C E1, please chuck it in the comments below. I'd love to know. Correct me. Star Citizen added a ton of content this year. They are really plowing ahead, but there are still some big ticket items that are missing that were shown off at CitizenCon, and they're looking less and less likely to turn up by the end of the year, though some of them certainly could. So we got things like Maelstrom. So Maelstrom is the ship and building, or at least some terrain destructibility system. So ships break apart in a more interesting and I'd say realistic fashion, but it's not necessarily realistic. There's physics to it, but it's a ship breakability system that will make combat and destruction of ships and that sort of stuff much more thrilling. You've got a quantum travel update as well. So one of the things that quantum travel is supposed to do is when you are accelerating into quantum travel in the future, you will have to be hands-on trying to keep your ship within the quantum corridor while you're accelerating. And once you've fully accelerated, you can go sort of hands-off. So the first few seconds of quantum traveling, you're going to be fighting against being pulled out of like your quantum bubble, your quantum tunnel, and you also you're going to be able to quantum boost. And I believe you'll be able to do this sort of like in any direction you want, which is a little short quantum travel, but that's all going to be very much keeping hands-on, keeping within your quantum tunnel while you're doing that. But that's for short distances. So they're sort of overhauling that quantum travel experience, making it look a lot more interesting as well. There's supposed to be new dynamic events. They're supposed to have these raids at distribution centers, allowing you to basically attack and assault a distribution center, get into its warehouse, and steal a load of valuables. I suppose some other dynamic events we're expecting is like the barge heist as well, which is a barge is flying around Crusader, and you can basically buy the location of it, and then you know where it is, and you can go there and try and rob it. There's lots and lots of like cargo containers there, and you need to get the codes off the guards, and there's going to be Ninetales there, there's going to be the Crusader security there's going to be other players there, all just fighting over valuable loot, and you need to get into the containers. Some of them aren't going to have valuable loot in. There's a load more general sort of engine improvements coming. There's more Squadron 42 improvements. You've got hazards like radiation, proper takedowns, scanning updates. It's supposed to be this big sort of scan ping and sort of information gathering system. And you've got things like the Star Whales as well, those big flying space whales that they showed off in the engine demo. Lots of little minor things were like blood, sweat and tears, and even more deeper character customization. So potentially a chunk of that could actually make it in by the end of the year. But there is a big ticket item which looks very unlikely, and that's base building. They showed off the concept of base building at CitizenCon, but we have not heard much more about it since. Now, you can argue that some of the stuff they're doing with the persistent hangars in 3.24 are steps towards base building, because it's the persistence of you being able to put items in there. You can buy chairs and furniture and that sort of stuff to make your hangar at home, to make it a makeshift base. But base building, obviously another level, they need to have you being able to have sort of land claims or ways of defining an area of land that is yours, and you put a base there, and then the servers be able to know that your base is there, and then effectively it's on all other servers, because what if you're changing server and someone else has got a base where your base is, things like that. And base building is pretty in-depth. You're going to have blueprints that you need, and then the materials that you need, and then the actual thing that's going to be building them, and that sort of scales up. You can do stuff with survey or like hand tools or vehicle, and then ships going all the way up to Pioneer sized, which is absolutely ginormous base building ship. The first stuff we're going to get for base building, expect it to be on the smaller scale of things. Back in 2018, CIG were working on land claims, and I would actually talk to Aaron Roberts about this, and it was one of the things he was most excited about getting it in by the end of 2018. Now, obviously, priorities changed and that didn't happen, but if you're going to have something base building-y by the end of the year, it's going to be something like that. It's going to be something like building a small structure with survey tools. At least that's likely going to be the first steps of base building whenever it turns up. And we know that bases are going to allow you to actually house their own fabrication units, so you can build weapons, armor, ship parts, ships even at the larger scale. And you'll be able to get different blueprints from doing missions or buying them or through reputation. I'm expecting 4.0 to be the last major patch of the year. And then we might get, like December, we might get a 4.0.1 patch or something like that. Maybe adding a few little additional features and tweaking some bits and bobs. Things that are potentially more likely to turn up are some of the dynamic events or the new quantum travel, more of those Squadron 42 and FPS improvements, that sort of jazz. But yeah, base building and Maelstrom, I think, very unlikely to turn up in any form by the end of the year, but we'll have to wait and see. And I'm really interested to know what you think about that. Are you like, well, actually, Star Citizen, CIG, they hit a huge amount of the stuff they said they were going to hit, so I don't really mind if they miss those this year, even though base building would have been awesome? Or are you like, I will never trust CIG again? Or do you think, actually, they may have some sneaky bits going on, and we actually will get some of these things with Maelstrom and base building by the end of the year? Is there anything that I've missed from CitizenCon that hasn't turned up that you're expecting or not expecting to be in by the end of the year? Whatever your thoughts or questions, I would always love to hear from you in the comments below, and you should definitely click on the links down below, because there's things like NordVPN there, or becoming a YouTube member on my channel, stuff like that. They're all very helpful, those links, all super helpful. Click them all.
I'm a futuristic cyborg sent back in time for one purpose. Give me your boots, your jacket, and your nordvpn.com/BoredGamer. Get NordVPN if you want to live on the internet. It's the only thing that will protect you against Skynet and my Terminator impression.
It gives you greater accessibility, security, and privacy on the internet as well. You should use the links below. Every month, we have a ship giveaway. For July, we're giving away a Constellation Taurus. This workhorse allows you to do some solid cargo running, as well as some combat and room for a small crew. It's just a great all-round mission runner and awesome ship to experience Star Citizen with. This comes with access to the game and lifetime insurance as well. All you need to do to be in for a chance of winning that is comment on any of my videos made during July. Each video is another chance to win. More details in the description below. Please consider supporting the channel with the join button under my videos or via Patreon, links below to all of that. It goes a long way in helping us to be able to make daily Star Citizen content and Zin's lore videos, all that sort of jazz. Thank you so much to all the glorious members that already do that. Thank you, thank you, thank you. You can always help as well by sharing, liking, subscribing, and getting involved in the comments section. And thank you very much for those of you that watched to the end. It is appreciated.